Dr. Pat Healey. I'm a geriatrician. What's that? Geriatrician, you don't know? Come on, guys. What's a pediatrician?
It's children.
Kids.
Oh, old people.
Old people.
Sorry.
Perfect. Perfect. Old people. Okay. So the purpose of our being here is, you know, what would it be like to be a doctor? Now, who in here will admit to having thought of, might consider, a career as a physician? Okay, fair number. All right. And so you all are straight A students, National Honor Society, all that sort of stuff, right? Right? Because you know it's hard to get into medical school, right? Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit about who I am, how I got to where I am, why I'm a little different, and why, if you're not a straight A student, National Honor Society, cum laude, you can still become a physician, okay? Because I did. And I promised Daniel that I won't pick on him too much, but if he gets unruly, we'll have to take things into consideration. One of the things I tell him all the time is, what? What do I tell you all the time? Besides, no C's.
Don't be an idiot.
Close. Well, I do say that. Don't be like your father, right? Huh? Right? Okay. I'm a 59-year-old. God, that's old, right? What's our one-on-one basketball score?
Oh, doesn't matter.
Okay. Go unpublished. So I'm obviously over the hill at 59. I'm a geriatrician. You probably haven't heard that term because there aren't many of us, even though we need lots and lots of them because we have an aging population. We can talk a little bit about aging if you want, well, at the end of this, depending on which way you want to go. But what I want to do is just kind of give you sort of, you know, my history in terms of why I became a physician and what I do and why I'm so passionate about it and why, regardless of whether you want to go into medicine or not, you need to have passion about something. You got to gain passion about something. I don't expect you to have it now. Okay, when I was at your level, sophomore or so, I kind of thought, you know, I might want to be a physician. I was a diligent kind of a kid. People thought I got good grades. I didn't really. Okay, I didn't. I was okay. I got more A's and B's and C's, right? Mostly. But I had the opportunity to watch my dad. I don't know how often you guys have an opportunity to watch your parents and what they do. Really young kid, barely could hang on to his doctor bag. He was a physician. And what impressed me about him wasn't his knowledge of medicine. It was how he treated people and how people treated him. This amazing respect that society had for him as a physician. And he was a guy from the wrong side of the tracks. You know the term railroad Irish? Came over in the potato famine, worked on the railroads, lived on the other side of the tracks. He was orphaned by age 9. And yet, he became a physician. GI Bill. He's a pretty tough guy, pretty smart guy. But I modeled myself after him, even though I was not a lot like him. And he wasn't around a lot, physician. And that model at that time, physicians were married to their business, to the practice of medicine. But I thought that was pretty cool. But I didn't tell anybody. Even when I was a sophomore, I didn't tell, I want to be a doctor. I told nobody. Okay? While I was pretty diligent, pretty good athlete, I was really, really shy. Really shy. And I had a bad experience with mathematics. That's genetic. Okay? You like your mother? Okay, fortunately. And I had a bad experience in science. I went to Brebeuf. You may have heard Brebeuf. It was all male at that time. All male. Ties, short hair, you know, all that sort of thing. Rigorous education. And I managed to graduate top half the class. National Honor Society? No, just get the hell out, you know. You're in the middle of class. Somehow, and I don't really know why, I got accepted by Wabash College. Again, all male. So, high school and college, all male. My wife said that turned out okay, right? So, you know, it can happen, okay? But I chose it because I knew that I had to get my butt in gear. I was not a very good student. Went in as a history major. And I didn't tell anyone I wanted to do medicine. I didn't take any science until my sophomore year. Took biology. Oh my goodness. Lights went on. Hey, wait a minute. I'm good at this. So I'll never forget the phone call. Again, we had no email, no text. I had to call my folks, you know, call collect, you know, will you accept this call? Hey, I think I want to major in biology and I want to be a doctor. They had no idea. No idea. Sat down with my counselor after my sophomore year. You know what he told me? Your chances of medical school are slim and none. And what I learned as I grew up from being a sophomore, thinking I want to be a doctor, to sort of getting to medical school, was it's your character development. It's how you develop as a person. You find your passion. What lights your fire? You guys don't know what that is necessarily. If you do, great. But I didn't figure it out until sort of the depths of college, when I had, you know, I was taking organic chemistry, genetics, and physics, and absolutely just dying, okay? No social life, I mean, you know, no females at Wabash, right? Just a bunch of guys. But it was a very good environment. Got into medical school, did just great, no problem at all. Finished medical school, met my wife in medical school, freshman year medical school. I met her very early in medical school, but she doesn't remember it. So you know what kind of impression I made. She actually got an incredibly wonderful scholarship, the Marvella Bai Scholarship. Anyone know who Marvella Bai was? Anyone know? Who's Birch Bai? Who's Birch Evan Bai? Okay. Birch Bai was a senator from Indiana. He's the one that brought about Title IX. What's Title IX? Anybody know? Title IX. Women? Title IX? What's Title IX? As many college scholarships, sports scholarships for women as men. 30 years ago. Okay. So his wife died of breast cancer. Their son, Birch Evan Bai, right, who was governor and was senator, and you're going to hear more about him. He's not done politically. But Marvella Bai died of breast cancer, and there was a cancer research grant that my wife got, so she was famous. So I congratulated her. She remembered me many months later. But it might have been the beard and the long hair and the army boots. And I wasn't really looking for romance at that time. I was on a mission. I was going to prove to people that I could make it. Okay. So graduated, no problem. Went to St. Vincent Hospital, internal medicine. And I got interested in aging. And so this is a big point. Now, every now and then, and one of the things that you guys are really good at, you know, I was taught that you are smart because of all the information you can take in your brain and spit it out in an exam. Right? I got pretty good at that. Not a good test taker. You guys are taught to critique it. Ask questions. Think critically. Okay? Be able to write. Okay? And every now and then you do something you can't believe how brilliant it was. I mean, it was, you know, ask my wife to marry me, one. She said no first, then yes, but you have to know her. But I sat down as a second-year resident in 1985 with a doctor, really smart doctor, infection doctor, okay? The guy who sees the bad infections. And I said, okay, you got a 40-year-old with pneumonia and you got an 80-year-old with pneumonia. I know you by your disease, right? You got pneumonia. I'm going to do all these things, all these antibiotics, all that. I said, well, how come some 80-year-olds do just as well as 40-year-olds, right? Get out of the hospital in 4 days, and some 80-year-olds don't.